Welcome to the latest edition of Spinning Platters Presents How Did I Get Here? Today we have on Stefan Aronsen of Balanced Breakfast, which is a community of musicians and other music industry folks that get together over breakfast to talk about what they're doing, how they can help each other, what we could do to get our music out there. We had a really fun, extra silly conversation about how he got his start. We somehow end up reading the entire track listening to Big Ones by Aerosmith. I, yeah, it gets weird, so enjoy.
Hey, Stefan.
Hello.
You're Stefan. That's the right pronunciation,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. People try to make it fancy, and I'm just like, nah, relax. It's cool.
No, being referred to as Stefan.
Yeah, exactly. No,
Yeah.
not necessary.
Name of the podcast is How Did I Get Here? Which is a ripoff of a Talking Heads song, as anybody that's listening to this podcast would have immediately figured out. But yeah, so what I'm doing is I'm taking people through their career journey, folks that have done something in the music business that isn't necessarily performer or, isn't somebody that you normally follow the career path of. And I realized I
Mhm.
know very little about you or how Balanced Breakfast came to be or
Yeah.
what got you here. So my first question for you is, what was the show, not your first show, but the show that made you decide music is how I want to spend my life?
Yeah. Yeah. Truthfully, I don't think it was like a traditional show. I think it was more of a family thing because music was in my family, but not in a traditional sense of like, oh, there's a band and oh, the family plays these shows or this or that. It was more like my grandpa could pick up any instrument, and after strumming it a few times or after hitting a few of the keys, he'd understand the sound of it, and he could play just about any song, which was amazing to watch. So he liked to play the mandolin, and he could in about 10 to 15 minutes figure out most songs on the mandolin. And then various members were part of like the church choir, and so it just felt like this is really cool seeing them excel at their craft and just be really good at it. And so I think that's the earliest like memory I have of music, and then slowly like, all right, digging into mom's record collection or being in the car with dad and listening to what he thought was cool and trending. Um, yeah, so it was not like the traditional story of like, oh, my parents took me to this like 80s concert that was so cool. Like I kind of wish it was, but it's not.
Is there like a song or a record that the whole family kind of bonded over?
Um, no, so my family is very religious, and so I feel like 90% of the time we were in the car, we were listening to like Christian music. So there's I think it's called Salty and like the Big Blue Book or something. It's like the singing songbook that would sing all these kids songs. And we listened to that on the way to swimming lessons. We listened to that like going across town, going grocery shopping. Um, but the thing, okay, so the thing my family makes fun of me though is like when you pick like your first memorable uh, CD or record or something that you bought with your own money. Um, we lived we didn't live near any record stores or CD stores or places to buy music. But in the 90s, McDonald's was doing this thing where if you bought I think if you bought a hamburger or if you bought something, you could also buy a CD for $5. And so at the time they had like Garth Brooks and two other artists I didn't know and Tina Turner, and I was like, the cover of the Tina Turner best of was like so sexy that I was just like, it's that. And so I listened to like What's Love Got to Do with It almost every single night. So that's like the most rock and roll thing for a what 13-year-old or
Mm.
something.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm guessing that was the Tina Turner Simply the Best compilation.
Yeah, exactly.
That's got some good stuff on it. So
For sure.
that makes sense as to why that was your like secular music jumping point.
But I didn't know it at the at that point. I didn't know how good it was going to be. Yeah, I didn't know it was going to be that. I didn't know it was going to be that good. I think my follow up one, I'm getting better here, was like Aerosmith, Big Ones. So I got right around like teenage years. I was getting better.
Although I would argue that Tina Turner is better than Aerosmith.
I I mean, definitely different. Definitely probably has withstood the test of time. But that Big Ones album is pretty
Does
good.
that go all the way back to the 70s? Like, does it have things like Dream On and like
The main one I think of is like Jane's Got a Gun. What you're pressing my knowledge here. Let's see. I'm not certain. What was on that? Let's see. See how quickly it comes up if I search Big Ones. Okay, yeah. Okay, so it's got um, Walk on Water, Love in an Elevator, Ragdoll, What It Takes, Dude, Janie's Got a Gun, Crying, Amazing, Blind Man, Deuces Are Wild, The Other Side, Crazy, Eat the Rich, Angel, Living on the Edge.
all right, so it was 80s, 90s Aerosmith.
That sounds about right, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so this is where you sort of found it for fun. I did a little LinkedIn investigating to see what your resume actually looks like. Uh, you so you went to school for graphic design,
Yeah, that's correct.
but it looks like you found yourself doing graphic design for a lot of different music apps and whatnot.
Yeah.
Uh, was that strategic? Was it just kind of magic that you ended up like working for companies like Magnify in Music City? Like,
Yeah.
how did you end up landing these gigs?
100% strategic. The the idea is like, okay, um I guess growing up, I tried to learn an instrument. So I thought, oh my, I want to be in the band. I want to like get on stage and rock out and just like get all sweaty and do the typical tour and get rowdy. And discovered I couldn't play drums. I couldn't play clarinet. Singing was not an option. Piano, I was horrible at. Like every single thing I tried, I was just like, it's not working. Um, and so it's like as I got older, I was like, I got to figure out a way in. There's got to be something other than creating music. And so yeah, it was like the goal to figure out how to use design in the music industry.
You've done well at, so that takes us to Balanced Breakfast.
Sort of like a bunch of failed attempts at other things, and then balanced breakfast. But yeah,
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the failures. What is it that you were trying to do before you hit Balanced Breakfast? Like what were some of those
yeah.
projects?
So my thesis project was to write a survival guide for bands about how to better market and promote yourself. And so I collected a bunch of advice from other musicians who I thought were doing well. And in theory, that's a great idea. A survival guide that tells you exactly how to navigate the music industry. In the problem comes in the fact of if you try to print that, it's outdated in 6 months to a year. It's like all this great information, and then you go, okay, well next year none of that matters because it's like that. Let's say we wrote it in the year of Magnify. Well, what about the year that they stopped existing? Um, or like for example, it was written in the time period of MySpace, and so everything that's written about that doesn't matter anymore. So that was a cool idea, didn't work. So that was my project. I called that. Uh, it was like a mixture between a survival guide and writing about the San Francisco music scene. It was called SF Intercom, and the other problem it had is like the music industry is bigger than just San Francisco. So calling something SF Intercom only allows it to be as big as the city you're in. So doomed to hit that glass wall ceiling situation and go, well, how do we get bigger? And it's hard.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's first the original name for spinning platters was South by SF, which we realized really boxed you in hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so I totally get that. All right. So what was SF Intercom exactly though? Like it was a just a blog of sorts or
Yeah, it was a project that was basically just me reaching out to as many people as I could and collecting together information. And then I tried to take that and branch it out into a radio show, and that's fun and cool. But it's actually really for me, it was really hard to get excited about these imaginary people out there that were listening. Like someone's listening, but you can't see them, you can't touch them. You just know that they're out there somewhere in the ether, and you're like looking at your stats and going, "All right, the numbers look okay," but it got kind of lonely sitting in the studio, like trying to do a show and not interacting with people. So it was like that was cool for about 3 years, and then it was like this is hard. Um, yeah, it's kind of. I mean, it's similar to podcasting, but I guess you're choosing your own time frame and schedule for when you do it. So maybe if you're not in the mood, you can switch to another day.
yeah, and podcasting it's interactive if you make sure it's interactive.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, like I
Yeah,
considered doing a solo podcast and it just didn't fly.
yeah,
Like I would
it's hard.
yeah, I would speak so slowly when I wasn't talking to somebody. It was painful just editing. Okay, so intercom got lonely
It
essentially.
did.
Uh,
Yeah.
and was Balanced Breakfast what was next?
No, I tried to make it not lonely by doing a thing called I Heart SF Bands, and and it was fun. And a lot of people that are now in Breakfast wrote for I Heart SF Bands, and it was social and fun and filled that void. But again, was still boxed in by the fact that like someone would ask me like, "Can I write about a band that's not San Francisco?" And I was like, "Well, kind of, sort of. I mean, are they playing here soon?" So it was cool for a while, and then yeah, and then it just was like, all right, like what can we write about the whole scene? Can we be more inclusive? I mean, I love other cities.
So then Balanced Breakfast.
Then Balanced Breakfast.
uh,
I was gonna let you set that up and be like, now?
yeah, which first of all, you're dealing with a community that largely works too late for breakfast,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
nonetheless, so Balanced Breakfast. This, if I understand correctly, started out as just meeting up with people for breakfast. Like,
At way too early in the morning, yeah.
yeah, well, way too early in the morning was 10 a.m.,
8 a.m.
8 a.m. Dear God, 8.
8 a.m. on Thursdays.
Do you even understand how musicians work? No, kidding, kidding, kidding.
I know you would think not. You're like, I understand now why you've been so like struggling to find something successful.
So when you had your first meeting of Balanced Breakfast,
Yeah.
who did you invite? Who was there? Like or not necessarily people, but what different
Yeah.
types of people in music did you have?
Well, it was me and Andy Freeman at first because we had previously had a meeting and talked about the music industry and talked about all the things we could possibly launch together and had these a lot of like brick and mortar ideas of things that in my mind had failed all of the years previous, uh, management companies and things that hadn't proven themselves. So Balanced Breakfast came out of the idea of like we had fun talking to each other and like imagining what we could have done together. That we decided to just invite our friends and be like, "Hey, you want to come have breakfast and talk about the music industry and just like kind of explore ideas?" So that first meeting I think had 5 or 6 people, and it was just like friends of mine, friends of Andy's, and it only took like 3 or 4 meetings to suddenly outgrow a typical dining room table, like like a diner table, if you will. Like suddenly we have 9 or 10 people, and we're trying to pull chairs from all across the cafe. Um, so we had to switch from a small cafe named Jim's to a bigger place called Crepe House that had more open seating. But after about a year, we were drawing in 50 people to breakfast at 8 a.m., which was just crazy town.
Yeah, on a weekday.
On a weekday at 8 a.m. It was weird. Uh, yeah, it was weird. So then it didn't have a name yet, so it needed a name. So it kind of like came out of the group. That's like on one particular breakfast, people were just popcorning names, and Balanced Breakfast popped out, and people were like, "Yeah, that's cool." Um, and I will say it has always been successful because it's not just me; it's a bunch of other people that are invested in it and are like, "This is so cool! Like, this needs to be bigger. This needs to be in more cities." Whereas my brainchild was like, "It's going to be 5 people having breakfast in a diner." So if not for really passionate people, like it would have been just that, just a handful of friends talking about music and sitting at a table.
Yeah, so 5 people's easy to have a conversation with.
Yeah.
What did you have to do to organize 50 people to make sure
Uh-huh.
folks weren't left out? Like, basically,
Yeah.
you start. I'm assuming you had to have an agenda at that point. Uh,
Yeah.
what was that process?
We had to get organized. It is hard because we were having like your typical. I guess if you, it's funny because people kept starting to compare it to like AA because you'd say, "Hi, my name is. This is my first time at a meeting," and you're like, "Welcome." So it very much kind of became like AA for musicians, but having like a music problem. Um, but we would like when we got to the point that like one circle wasn't enough. It's like we're going from one side of the cafe to the other as one circle. We say, okay, cool. Do we start a second circle around that circle? So we started having like tiers of circles, and then we started messing around with shapes. Like, okay, maybe one circle's not right. Do we do like this pretzeling shape, or yeah, it was pure chaos. It was amazing, but it was pure chaos. So if you're thinking, how do you organize 50 people in a diner? I'm like, yes, yes.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Now, did you ever just use a treble clef?
That is a shape. Oh, I think if we had drones at that time, we might have been able to fly over the top of it and have some interesting shape.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Good point.
Yeah.
I neglected to realize that this is, yeah. Actually, what year is this? That of the first Balanced Breakfast meeting.
Oh, I thought you were saying right now, and I think it's August 25th of 2020, but I'm all off right now on my calendar. This pandemic thing is messing me up. But Balanced Breakfast?
Yes.
Okay. November of 2013.
So
Yeah.
7 years ago. And how long did
Yeah.
it take to get from that 5 to 50?
Maybe 1 year. Yeah, probably 1 year.
That's some impressive growth. Uh,
It really was.
yeah.
Yeah.
So in that first year, that was 2013. So that was also kind of a significant year in terms of how you sold music too, because that would have been kind of the move from MP3 to streaming was hitting that
Hmm.
year. That would have been kind of maybe just before SoundCloud and Bandcamp really took off.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, I was gonna say what it really was when all of the voices of San Francisco were saying that San Francisco was dead. It's like everybody in San Francisco was either moving away or was saying like the music scene in San Francisco is dead, and we're all sitting here going, how is that? We're still here and trying to do cool things. Like it can't be dead yet. Um, it might be a little more dead now,
well, obviously, but
a little bit.
yeah, nonetheless. Uh, so do you remember any like crazy great ideas during that year? Because that is a very pivotal year. That was like kind of a year of flux. That was a year where people didn't quite know where to market their music.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Well, I think what people were excited about is that with breakfast, people were no longer holding on to their ideas as being precious. So it was like you no longer had the keys to the kingdom based on knowing something about the music industry that no one else knew. It was like everybody is like saying, "Okay, hey, I am trying to put my music out there. Should I go with uh, uh, oh, I'm blanking on their names now, like ASCAP or BMI? Should I like how should I distribute my music? What platform should I use? And everybody's just talking about it, being like, "Hey, this is why you should go ASCAP, or this is why you should go BMI. This is the best distribution right now." And it's like, you're just gonna tell me that? Cool. I'll come back next week.
yeah, well, it's great about being in a time of flux is everyone's kind of generous with the information that they have.
Yeah, but I mean, when I first started like trying to do music professionally in about 2009ish, I felt like everybody was like, "Oh, I know the answer, but I can't tell you because you need to go find out on your own. You can find it though. It's on the internet. Do a little research." And it's like, seriously, you just tell me. Let's talk. Let's have coffee. I was like, leverage.
Yeah, although the secret was in 2009, those people didn't really know. Because, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, perhaps that. Yeah,
yeah, like 2009 was kind of the beginning of the end of the CD, and before
yeah.
anyone was expecting the vinyl resurgence to happen. Like that was the year people were going heavy on iTunes.
Yeah, but yeah, it was. But everybody was like, I don't know. It just sort of felt like an unfriendly music scene, and it was like I want in, but why is everybody so mean? Um,
Yeah, because everyone was
so
scared.
yeah,
Yeah,
and also we had to. That was one of the things in the early balanced breakfast. We had to make rules. You're not allowed to talk about how good the music scene used to be. That was like our main rule. Is like we can talk about everything, but we can't spend an hour talking about how great it used to be because who wants to talk about that? I mean, not me, not me.
yeah. Well,
So
I mean, nostalgia for a time past. In that situation, only kind of leaves you feeling more distraught. Like you're not gonna if you're looking towards the past and just getting that back, just trying to get that back, then you don't make any movement.
yeah,
Yeah. So speaking of movement, so 2013 is when you began.
yeah.
You kept growing. When did you have your first satellite balanced breakfast meeting?
Let's see. So I know where it was. The first one was in Oakland, and Brian from a band called Mr. Kind uh, was basically saying like, I'm coming all the way from Oakland. It's actually a little hard to get here at 8 a.m. From Oakland. What if I were to start one in a balanced breakfast over there? And at the time, that just it's like it's not that wild of an idea, but it blew my mind. I was like, I mean, anybody can host breakfast. So what are we doing that's making this so unique that you want to do like a franchise of it? So I laughed at first, and then I said, "Awesome, yes, give me some time to make some documents that clarify like." If Bikram has like how many like yoga moves that makes Bikram, like then breakfast needs to have these steps that makes it breakfast, and let me go write those down so that you could do my version of breakfast, if you will. Um, so let's see. I think that had to have been like somewhere in the area of a year and a half or 2 years, and then it quickly went to San Jose with Barb from Barb Rocks, and then Angela from Muddy Paw wanted to take it with her when she moved to Toronto, and then it just started popping up, and people were like, I know this person in Denver, I know this person in Austin, and everybody's like, I can do it in my city. And I'd say 50% of them were real. Like 50% of people were like, yeah, actually I'm going to do this. And other ones were just excited. And I just kind of like kept my finger on it and be like, you really going to do it? Really? Just like, maybe we just become friends, but maybe you do start a breakfast in your city. It definitely had quite a few years of like me just trying to hold on and be like, I'm with you, don't worry, I'm not letting go. And then I would say like the last year or two, it's been a process of like, okay, cool. It exists. A certain amount of people know about it, and how do we keep that momentum going? So that's been fun figuring out how to be like, all right, well, what can we be besides breakfast? What other things can we do?
Once you went international, even it sounded
Yeah,
like it sounded like you went to Toronto before you left the Bay Area, practically.
basically.
Um, so balanced breakfast at this point, like it's a it's several different communities.
Yeah,
It's also a blog.
yeah,
It's also, I mean, it's a lot of different things. Uh, and at some point,
yeah,
you decided to go full on conference.
yeah.
Uh, so when was the first Balanced Breakfast Music Summit?
Summit. Yeah. Okay, we have had two summits so far. So we had I think 2018 was our first one. I'm making sure that I'm not going crazy on that because maybe it was one earlier, but
There was one earlier.
yeah.
Yeah, because
Okay, so 2017 was our first one then.
all right.
I
So
should be a master on this, right? And be like, boom, it was this year. Um,
all right. So 2017, your first summit.
yeah,
Uh,
it was. Yeah.
what? How did you create a summit? That's definitely at something more than one meeting. Like,
Yeah.
was this you all by your lonesome coming up with panels? Like, what was your process to create a bona fide music conference?
Yeah. It okay, so it was a few parts. It was going to lots of other people's conferences and being like, "This is really cool," and realizing that most of them aren't designed for musicians. Most of them are designed for music business. So what they talk about is technology, different like things relating to like releasing apps or just the business behind it, investing and all that kind of stuff. And so one particular one, dare I say, one of my more favorite ones, but it was uh, um, SF Music Tech. I asked Brian. I said, this is great. Like all the panels are really highbrow. I enjoy them, but none of the information is geared towards artists. Like we're not talking about things that an artist can take in and then the next day go put into action. And he said, yeah, that's because this conference isn't designed for musicians. He says, if but you should create something that is. And I was like, laughed at him because I was like, I don't have the resources for that. But flash forward 4 years and like doing breakfast for about that long as well. Started to realize that meeting for breakfast sort of sort of sort of had this like graduation phase where you come to breakfast, you come to breakfast, and you've taken in all this information, and now you're so busy like doing it, like touring and playing shows and deep into the industry that it's like, oh, it's really really hard to get to breakfast. So that group needed the next thing. So that was the goal was to make that next thing the summit. So that like once a year, everybody who was like, "Oh man, I'm so busy," could either come back and join or come back and speak at the summit. And yeah, it's hard. It's very hard, uh, but it's fun. But yeah, it's hard, and it's a little bit of just like too much coffee, and it's like, I've got these ideas, and then a little bit of like just putting a lot of faith on the people that lead the panels and just be like, I'm not going to helicopter this like I'm not going to be hovering over to make sure it's going well. It's like it's yours, and I'm going to just enjoy the day and make sure things are flowing smoothly, and that's a lot of trust. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you can't be in five rooms at once.
Nope.
Actually, how many rooms did you have going at once that first year?
Uh, so I don't know how to come in softly or like to like not um like the idea of like having one panel at a time never crossed my mind. So we had three panels at a time for the whole day, and um, yeah, that just seemed right. So yeah, it was I think 50 or 60 different speakers, and yeah, and 3 panels an hour, and um, yeah, it was pure chaos for about 6 hours or 7 hours. Well, technically the whole day, but like the actual panels go for a certain number of hours, and then hangout time.
Yeah, I would assume that you're exhausted at the end of all of it and just running on fumes.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, the when it comes to my panel, which is always the last panel, I always try to have shots of something on the table for me and the whoever's on my panel, because it's like the whole day I've wanted a shot because I'm like, this is crazy. That finally when it becomes my panel, I go, I don't have any more responsibilities after this. Like, shot please.
So what do you do if one of your headlining panelists isn't drinking?
I mean, like Aaron Axelson,
Yes,
for
exactly like Aaron
example.
Axelson. Yes, someone that was definitely part of all of this last year.
Yep. So I got lucky. I went and bought alcohol, and then I came back, and someone goes, "You do know Aaron doesn't drink, right?" And I was like, "Interesting. Nope." And so that's when I leaned on Piano Fight, the venue we were at, and said, "Hey, last minute, but can you make me a non-alcoholic foofy drink with lots of things coming out of it?" Cool, thanks.
So
Um,
everyone got shots and Aaron Axelson got something delicious.
Perhaps for those of you that don't find whiskey delicious, yes, indeed.
Uh, so also going back to last year's, you may have been the last conference of 2020.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah.
How does that feel? Like you pulled it off and it ended like in literally like it was balanced breakfast, then noise pop happened, and then
Yeah.
the entire country stopped.
Yeah.
Did that make you? How did that feel? Like finding out like if this thing was just a week later, or yeah,
Oh man, that would have hurt so bad. Because I was en route to South by Southwest when the world shut down, and so I think about how much it hurt to cancel all the bands that I had scheduled for South by Southwest. Like that was that was painful based on how many hours of time was invested into it. Um, and I lost some money, but yeah, if a summit where a lot of money investments are made in advance hadn't happened, that would have hurt in a lot more ways than 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 South by did. But yeah, hadn't really thought of. I guess I have been too busy thinking about all the things that haven't happened to think about the things that successfully did happen before the pandemic. So you are 100% right that how cool is that? But at the same time, I'm like, what about South by, and what about trips I had planned, and what about festivals that I was going to go to, and what about the biggest year of the that I was planning for, like for work and financially? Nope, out the window.
you did really well. And I mean, I don't know what your attendance numbers were, but I do remember during the panel that I was part of, like yelling at people to move over so other folks can actually
Yeah,
get in.
that's perfect.
Yeah, and still, like, yeah, we little old me was in a speaking in a room that was beyond capacity. So you did well. You also lucked out that nobody was infected at this thing.
Yeah, don't even think it was a concept at the time. It was so early in February that like I don't even think. I mean, surely some some people in some country or some place probably had it, but it wasn't even a conversation yet in February in San Francisco. I wasn't even aware of it. I didn't even know anything about it at that time.
Yeah, and working at Eventbrite, we started talking about it. There was definitely like we know about this thing happening in China. What happens when this comes to the U.S.? If it comes to the U.S., how does it affect things?
Yeah,
But yeah, it took so little time. Uh,
yeah,
so at this point, I've been asking people kind of how they're pivoting to keep afloat during COVID. I'm going to ask you a little bit different question. It's
okay,
how are you helping people pivot during this time?
yeah. That's fun. So yeah, so balanced breakfast is is on the okay, so you know how you have those labors of love, and then you have those labors of love that can financially support you. I'd say balanced breakfast is like on the edge of something. So it's like maybe pretty soon it could be financially viable to just do breakfast, but it's not yet. So I have to do marketing and have to get I get to do marketing and design within the music industry, and a lot of my clients are from Balanced Breakfast, so that's pretty awesome. It's like one of those things we talk about in breakfast is like everybody's like, how do I make all this like networking and all the things I'm doing make money? And I always tell them it's not going to be what you expect. It's going to come in from the side, and you're going to be like, I never thought that money was going to come from here. I was expecting it to come like through normal funnels, but all of a sudden you're surviving based on these other things. So that's kind of my story. But um, yeah, like I guess I have been helping a few bands with their marketing plans, with their social media agendas, with what they've been trying to put out there, with the idea that if you're releasing music, you can't have your traditional EP release show as if like let's go to Bottom of the Hill and have a show. It's not going to happen. Um, so figuring out, okay, well, do we do some sort of free online show, or do we hang out on Zoom, or trying to figure out everything and just trying to figure out, okay, well, why would anybody want to blog about you? Like, do you have a story that's interesting, and trying to create those stories so that someone's like, I really want to talk about you. So it's been fun. It's different. Um, I think also like in March, everybody was freaking out and pulling their money as close to them as they could and being like, "No, my precious." And now we're getting to the point where people are like, "I think I'll start considering releasing that thing I recorded in January now." And so people are starting to spend money again, so it's good. Um, but yeah, like yeah, the way I've been not to ramble, but how about I ramble for a second? The way I've been describing it is that like um um uh, in January, I might have bragged that all of my clients were in the entertainment realm, and I was like, "Yes, I'm doing 100% entertainment. Yes, that's the goal. Everybody wants to like be in the field that they're most passionate about." And then the pandemic happens, and entertainment is not considered a necessity, and so all your clients disappear, and you're like, "Shoot, I wish I had some clients outside of entertainment." So that's kind of what I'm doing now. Is like, how about diversification? That's my recommendation.
It's funny because I was thinking to myself, like, I was really proud of the fact that every job I've had has been music related up until this point. And now that I'm looking for work, my resume really doesn't fit anything specifically out there. And I'm like, yeah, this is,
That's about right.
yeah, I really, really shouldn't have gone all in on this. But nonetheless, let,
Right.
let,
Yeah.
let's
The-
look forward because this is all going to come back.
uh, yeah.
Like it may take some time.
What's your bet? Okay, so not to ask you a question from my podcast, but I'm going to ask you a question from my podcast. Um, if you were going to make a bet on when venues like Bottom of the Hill were going to have what could be described as a normal Bottom of the Hill show, maybe it's masks, but you could have like full capacity. What's the date?
So based on what I'm reading, like what epidemiologists are saying, all the things I'm consuming,
Mm-hmm.
I predict that we'll be able to have maskless open drinking indoor shows by fall of 2021.
Oh, not bad, not bad.
Yeah, like I think we're gonna have outdoor festival kind of things before then.
Yeah.
Uh,
So you're saying like September, October of 2021?
yeah, I think that's when I
Okay.
feel like things are gonna be like all together, like comfortable and ready to go. And it's gonna be a combination of us getting serious about masking and social distancing in the meantime, us getting really serious about not infecting each other, uh,
Yeah.
and that combined with whatever this quick vaccine that we end up getting, how effective it is in combination to all of these things. But I
Yeah.
still like I kind of feel that we're moving in the right direction where more and more people are taking it seriously now.
Yeah.
And if we get really serious about it, I think even if there is no vaccine, I feel like by next fall we could have this thing tackled.
Mhm. Interesting. So my I like your answer. My answer's sooner, but with masks. So I was figuring like February 1st we could maybe have semi-normal indoor shows with masks, but I might be being a little optimistic.
Yeah, I mean that would be fantastic about that is that means Noise Pop never takes a year off.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, because those were my two thoughts. Are like Sketchfest and Noise Pop both
Yeah.
made it pretty cleanly. Will Sketchfest and Noise Pop happen next year? Which
Ooh.
I want them to. If I were to make a prediction there, I think Sketchfest isn't. I think Sketchfest is going to have a smaller summer run.
Hmm.
And I feel like Noise Pop is going to happen in the fall.
They'll move it. That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I haven't I so our summit usually happens in February and I definitely haven't started planning it yet because it seems irresponsible to be thinking about planning anything that's supposed to happen in person now while we're not allowed to have those. So, hmm. So what about spinning platters? Like, um, do you, do you have you been focusing on it more now when you have more time, or same amount, same old, same old?
So I spent like 2 whole months posting nothing,
Mm,
but that was what I call the somber period.
panic mode.
Yeah, and then one day I was humming to myself the song "Get Better" by Mates of State.
Nice.
And with that chorus, things are gonna get lighter even if they don't get better.
Nice.
And I thought, holy shit, that's where I need to get to because kept thinking like this is never going to end, this is never going to end, and the question is not when is this going to end, the question is how do we manage this, how
Yeah.
do we how does the we get the weight off. So my first post was after months was just that song with the lyrics, and that kind of kickstarted me to get working again. And then I've had the idea for this particular podcast in the back of my head for a long time. Oddly enough, since 2013, I think was when I first had the idea. And Spinning Pliers had its own podcast then, and I never got off the ground.
Yeah.
And I realized a lot of people, a lot of incredibly hardworking, incredibly successful people have some free time now, so maybe
Yeah.
they might want to talk to me about it.
Nice.
Uh, and it just it felt good. It also the move right now is, Spinning Platters isn't covering shows right now.
Yeah.
It's pushing like here's what people are doing right now. Here's how you can help right now. And then magically out of nowhere movies started coming out again. So we're getting movie reviews out.
Cool.
But yeah, but also I don't know, I like the format of this podcast because a lot of people are depressed right now,
Hmm.
and hearing other people talk about what they've gone through to get to where they are, I feel like it could be a good catalyst for being hopeful about your next jumping point because
Yeah.
like people have failed before and things have
Yeah.
looked bleak before, and yeah, things will become less bleak in the future.
Yeah, a friend hit me up and he's like, "How are you not depressed?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Man, your Instagram is blowing up. Like you're doing all this fun stuff." And I go, dude, there's a difference between real life and Instagram. You need to remember that Instagram is the glorified version of what your life actually is. It's only the good stuff. You don't need to post. You get to choose what you post." So I said, "Don't worry. I am depressed." And he goes, "Oh, thank God. That makes me feel so much better." And I was like, "That's kind of dark, but okay, fair. As long as Stefan's depressed, it's all right for me to be depressed."
Good. You've given everyone the okay there.
Yeah, but no, I'm not gonna put. I feel like I'm called to entertain, so I'm not going to use social media as my outlet for feeling down. It's like that's in person. If I've got people I want to talk to or phone calls I need to make, I'm gonna be like, I'm having a really bad day, but it doesn't need to be on social media. But that's my personal choice. But yeah, like, so he's like, that's right, that's right. Instagram's not fully real. Oh, I didn't know.
And imagine if somebody's real life was their Instagram feed.
Yeah. I
But
I I would be making these magnificent meals every single day and going on scooter rides to get donuts like every afternoon. It would be amazing.
yeah, man, no, donuts every afternoon could lead to some other very very tangible problems that I don't want to consider.
Yeah. Well, also I'd be going to the gym every single day because probably I could post some picture that suggested I was at the gym.
That's true. That balances out the donuts.
Yeah. Yeah, if it doesn't have to
Yeah.
be real, I'm posting 3 times a day. I'm like gym photo, donut photo. I cook this amazing dinner every single day.
Yeah, although though one of my motivating Instagram feeds is deadlifts and donuts.
This is an Instagram that you follow.
Yes, and it's just
Breaks out his phone and finds
yeah,
it.
it's a power lifter that also encourages donut eating. Although it's mostly powerlifting, sadly. You don't get a lot of donuts.
Donuts.
Yeah, I can't get you donuts right now. But nonetheless. All right, Stefan, we should probably wrap this up. This has been a lot of fun.
I've had fun too. It's been nice hanging out in your closet.
Yeah, thank you. It wasn't too stuffy in here.
Not too bad. I see some outfits I might like to borrow though. So that cream sweater there looks nice, and that jacket and the acoustics are amazing in here too.
Yeah, maybe I should finally record a demo in this closet as well.
Nice. Can I name drop my social media links?
You can name drop
Name,
all of those.
name drop. My social media is Stefan Aronsen, first name, last name, Stefan with an F, and then Balanced Breakfast is Balanced Breakfast with no vowels, and we're on all the platforms. This has been fun.
Excellent, excellent. Even TikTok until that. Actually, TikTok's never going away. What
What do
am
we
I
have?
talking
20
about?
days? 25 days? I don't know.
Yeah, it's all a bluff. But yeah, although Stefan
Power
Aronson,
play.
you really should. Is that an E or an A in Aronson?
Okay. STEFANARONSEN. I just gave him a lot of credit for just like finding it.
Yeah. Well, also if you just Google Stefan Balanced Breakfast.
That's true. That's some crazy photos of me at a show going, I'm having so much fun.
Yeah, which is clearly you in front of a green screen there too.
Yeah.
No, kidding.
On the internet too. Yeah, for sure.
All right,
Uh,
this has been a blast. Thank you for coming on and telling us about you and being the first guest to ask me questions.
well, I would have asked more if we how much time do we have left?
Sadly, I'm still using free Zoom, so I'm surprised it hasn't kicked us out
Hasn't kicked
already.
us out yet. They knew we were having a good chat.
It's gotten nicer lately. Yeah, I should not include the fact that it's been giving us a lot of wiggle room on that 40 minutes because I don't want them to catch it.
Yeah, they just like you, so it's cool.
There we go. Yeah, well, I do name drop that I'm using Zoom, but everybody's using Zoom.
Yeah, I switched to it. I mean, I was using Skype because that's what I read in blog posts as being a good platform for recording podcasts now. And then switched to Zoom, and I was like, "Ooh, I like the stability of this one. Not too many warbles and jarbles in my voice."
Yeah, it's great, and yeah, and I even have an app that will separate out my voice and your voice, so uh,
What?
I can do mixing.
What? Taking notes? What is this app?
It's Camtasia, which is video production software.
Camtasia.
Yeah, Camtasia.
Written down, and you can probably hear my keyboard.
I can.
Maybe. Yeah, it's written down.
I'm gonna add some reverb to that keyboard to make it
Yeah,
really, really thunderous.
that's perfect. Well, I've had fun. I don't know what part of this podcast you're keeping and what part you're editing out, but I've enjoyed every last second of it.
I'm probably not gonna cut very much of this.
Done.
This is this has been pretty good. You didn't talk about doing anything illegal that I need to cut out. No industry secrets there that need to be
Yeah.
removed.
Nope.
Uh,
I have a rule that anybody who's on my podcast, or if I'm on anybody else's podcast, I only say the things I'd want my mom to hear. So if she listens to this podcast, I don't want her to be like, my son is doing what? She already knows that I've got too much energy and I run around at shows going, oh my gosh, it's good to see you. Oh, so happy you're here. So nothing leaked.
Yeah, I mean, also if your darkest quality is you're energetic and love people.
Well, during a pandemic is not allowed.
Oh no,
Yeah,
no,
so it's pretty
that is
shady
true.
right now.
Yeah, well, on that note, I can't wait till we can hug again.
Well, we can have virtual hugs at Balanced Breakfast every other Thursday. You can join us there. I'll give you a screen high five.
Excellent. Wow, you actually disappeared with that high five. It was great. You put up your hand and I could just see your office.
You're suggesting that my high five was not designed for podcast?
Yes, that is true. I am definitely suggesting that high fiving does not make for good podcast material.
So I should have said high five. This has been a great show.
I'd like to thank Stefan Aronsen for coming over and talking to me. Well, talking to me via Zoom, not actually coming to my apartment. That's really dangerous right now. Yeah, I hope you're enjoying the series. I've got another one coming at you next week, and I've got some really amazing guests that I can't talk about in store for the next few weeks of this thing. And, of course, I say this at the end of every episode. If you like what you hear, feel free to send me some tip money via Venmo at capital D, lowercase Aiken, AKIN, dash capital H, lowercase Ardwick, ARDWICK. And yeah, let's say $1 or $2 just to help me stay afloat during these difficult times. And yeah, I hope all is well. Talk to you next week.